think that's actually a really interesting concept that there is a lot of priming today amongst students or young professionals, right? About every 2 years, it's really important to shift and get out there. But I think there is a lot of opportunities now with especially how big companies can get, right? All the different opportunities that are available within a particular company. Do you have a suggestion for those that might want to stay within a company and how they do that?
I was one of those people that, if I'm not moving, something's wrong. And after I got that controller job, that was the last time that I ever looked for a job. Every other time it was a tap on the shoulder. And so I think the thing to do, I use the word patience. That's not a good term. What I would ask is that look for the problems that your boss has or your company has. And if you have these particular skills or capabilities and you're willing to do it, tell them you're going to go and help fix these particular problems. Because as they see that, especially from someone who's putting the time in early, I think that becomes the key to success, right? The 10,000 hours that Gladwell talks about, it's a real thing, right? Learning as much as you can and building a craft in an area and being a problem solver, that actually goes a long way. So I would encourage folks when they go in, work on the job that you're given. Don't spend time, hey, 2 years from now, I got to be in a different job. Am I doing everything I can do to make this company and this role the best it can be?
So we were talking about kind of going with the opportunities that are given to us. Could you talk a little bit more about the importance of serendipity in your career and allowing
Yeah.
go with the motions?
Tom, you got it. You know what? That's a hard one to guess, right? Because you say, were you blessed or you having bad luck? Everybody gets good luck and bad luck, and it is true. Like if that boss asked me, I'm heading in a finance path, and he asked me, "Would you change this? Would you go fix that?" And, that was a little bit of serendipity in the fact that he did it, and I do think you make your own luck by putting the time in. And he saw something that thought, if he puts the time in to fixing the problems I'm having, then I'm going to be successful, right? And so you can't plan on serendipity, right?
And in the past, we've heard that within Corning, there used to be plans that would be put together to kind of, procure this product development, where they would almost like schedule an invention or schedule an innovation. While looking back on it, it may have seemed a little bit odd that you could kind of, contemplate putting into a roadmap exactly when you would invent something. But how were you able to change that mindset of people within the company?
Well, first of all, there isn't a scientist who likes that term scheduling and innovation. They get very mad about it. Well, here's what I noticed, right? And remember, I'm the non-technical guy. Of all the tools, I always needed a strong technical guy to help. What you tell them is, in my foundational assumptions, I have to do this, this, and this. And I can get the first two done, but in order to get from B to C, something has to happen there. I need an invention. Otherwise, remember, an innovation is an invention that has commercial value, right? You get paid for it in one way, shape, or form. Otherwise, it just stays an invention. But we have to do that. And what you do is you go and say to the technical team, can you solve this, right? And, people usually they don't do the lawyers 50-50. But they go, I think I have high confidence I have a shot at that. Let me do this. Can I run this experiment? And they'll fail and they'll get to, but more times than I've seen, I mean, it is part of the magic of Corning. They'll solve that problem from B to C. And then now you have an invention that you could go sell and turn into an innovation.
And I think one other thing we thought was really interesting was not just that, but the power of storytelling. And so I was wondering if you could talk about that a bit too, because
we need to talk about that. Yeah. So, and I don't know if it's because I have Irish parents or not, but telling the story actually matters. And here's why. So Wendell has a great talk that he gives that we teach people internally on. Innovation is a change management process. You have the customer and you have your own company, and you've got to convince the customer that this value proposition that you have and your assumptions that you can help them on is going to make their lives better. And then you got to go to your own company and you've got to convince them that this is a good idea and that we ought to be able to do that. And it's all interrelated, because if you get the okay from a customer, it makes it easier to tell the story inside. And likewise, it may still be a good idea, but if you don't have that, then how do you tell that story inside?
And I was hoping maybe too, because I know one thing that you're very focused on too is this idea of intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship. So I was wondering
So
if you could touch on that.
I asked them to send you that slide, and I think it's okay if you put them in. So here's what it is. I'm a failed entrepreneur. It was always little stuff. And I think the big thing I learned, Tommy, was if you're not going all in, then you're not going to succeed on it, right? And like I told you, in these little Apex chapters, I would run these side things and gross $60,000, $80,000, for events, and run them and put the money into the thing for the sole reason of getting that speaker to come visit my shop and give me advice, right? There's a lot of ways that you can do it. However, the biggest thing when you look at the chart that I sent you on there, the entrepreneur picks the business. They're the ones who are all in for that thing, and they usually have their own money and their life at risk on that, right? If you take the entrepreneur doesn't have to worry about money. It's why that was great for me here, because Corning's watching out for that. Yeah, I got to manage the budget and everything, but my livelihood is okay.